I believe we're live now. So hello, everybody. Good morning. 9 o'clock here in Arizona. My dear friend Keira Poulsen is joining me today from her home because we're all at home. Hi, Keira.
Hello, hello.
Keira has 5 children.
I do.
5 children,
Hi.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so she said, so I've got some older ones here, the little ones are gone, but you never know what's going to happen. And I told her that's okay. If something goes flying past your face or we hear some screaming in the background, we are all just normal. We're all just regular,
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's kind of a good stepping point off to today's conversation, which is, I can't believe it's Facebook chat live number 28 and we're wrapping things up. It's Good Friday. It's April 10th. And we've had, after my chats today, we'll have 30 experts that we interviewed over the last 2.5 weeks. And I was telling Keira before we got on here, every single expert that we've had, what I love about it is every expert has brought something different to the table. And every expert has brought their light. And so Keira is the one who really opened my eyes. And this is why I wanted to bring her forward, because she's like this angel, right? That's got a direct line to God, that's been sent down to earth. And I see her as, we've talked a lot about lamp holders and light leaders, and she brought the light leader to me and helped me realize that I was a light leader. So I see Keira as the one that is lighting the lamps, if that makes sense. So God gave us each a lamp, and we have a light that each one of us needs to shine bright. But I do believe that a lot of us have not lit our lamps, right? We haven't really woken up to understand that we have the power, that we have the right, that we have the permission to light our own lamps, or we're just maybe afraid. And so I see Keira as a light leader that helps turn those lamps on and lights them up. And I haven't said this about one person in these 3 weeks. All I've said is that each one of us have a lamp, but I believe that she's the one that helps people figure out how to light them. So Keira Poulsen, welcome.
You're making me cry over here. Oh,
you're so special.
So are you, my dear. I'm so honored to know you and to watch you go out and just pour light through the world and all that you're doing. I just see so deeply the work that you are to do in this world, and it's powerful.
So thank you, by the way, for that. I appreciate that. So what I want to talk about today with Keira is, let's talk a little bit about, we know what's happening in the world. It's been a conversation that we've had in every single one of these chats and how everyone has been pivoting. But today I want the conversation to be a little different. And I wasn't planning on this, but I'm going to go with my intuition, listen to the spirit, go with what I feel is right. And what I want to talk about with Keira is how she, through this, how she can talk to, I want you to talk to the listeners and the viewers right now about how they can recognize their lamp, how they can shine their lamp, even if it's for their home, even if it's for a family member, even if it's for just themselves to see the light. What are some things that we can do daily to start lighting the lamp? Or if we're starting to feel like our light's dimming and going out, what can we do to really feel alive and thrive through this time?
Okay. So what comes to me right away is one day I was driving in my car, my phone was about to die, and I had it charging, and I was so frustrated. I was like, oh, I can't have this die right now. Like, why is it not charging? One of those like first world problems. And then I noticed that the actual charger was not plugged in to my car. So it may have been hooked into my phone on this end, but it wasn't hooked into the actual source of energy. And if we were to think about a lamp, it has a light bulb, it has all the capability of being lit, but if it's not charged into the source of electricity, it's not going to be lit. And I think that's really the conversation here is we all have this light. We all have these purposes to go forward. Each and every one of us, a divine individual purpose was given. And it's like so ready to be lit. It's the lamp that has the perfect light bulb, the perfect electricity running through it. All that needs to be done is to plug it in. And so what I believe is that for us is us charging from the most highest light, which is the divine God. And how we do that is making time every day to connect in. So I actually wrote about this morning in my morning practice. This is kind of perfect. So I was thinking there are 3 different distinct ways that I think you can do that. And the first one is making time, right? Mm-hmm. So, you and I have talked and we've worked a lot together around creating sacred space. Mm-hmm. So I would love for you to share a little bit about your sacred space and we can kind of talk about what that is, right?
All right. So this is going to be comedy hours. What's going to happen here. So I am like I'm not a big bather. Like I don't like to take baths. So when my husband and I bought this house, it was already, pretty much built. It was a spec home. And so they built the room, the bathroom with a bathtub and a shower. And I don't really use oval bathtubs or anything like that. So I created a sacred space that has blankets and pillows. I have my angel cards in there. I have journals, I have mantras, I have scriptures, I have books, I have candles, I have crystals, I have essential oils. So this is my space. Yeah. I have a vision board that is very prominent in my space. So when I step into this bathtub and I sit down, I spend time just being. And that's the best way I can describe it. It's time for me to just be still, to be quiet. I meditate. So and if anyone knows me, I have the busiest brain on earth. So to shut it off and to I call it opening my portal. I open my portal and I feel like it just is a straight conduit or a portal to God when I'm sitting there. And I'm just asking, I'm laying it all out there. Like, this is what I have. This is what questions I have, and I just want direction. And so I spend time in the morning doing that. I also have had the pleasure of going through Keira's Awaken Program, and her Awaken Program taught me something I've never heard before in my life. I didn't even know what a chakra was. Never heard of it. I can tell you, I believe in them now. I believe that we have the power to heal our own bodies if we believe it ourselves and if we do the work. Because I did go into my sacred space one day in the middle of heartburn that I was having. And within 5 minutes, my heartburn was gone. I worked on the energy in my body and healing myself. And the mind is strong. I talk about this all the time and how it's the motherboard, really, and how if we believe in something and we're connected to a higher source and an energy, and between those two, we can do miracles. So to me, that's my sacred space and time, is gratitude and journaling and quiet and working on the areas in my body and those energy sources that need clearing to be able to be stronger.
Oh, I love it. That's
where she taught me.
This is the candy in life for me. Like, that is the dessert. It's the goodness. And what that does is when we create a sacred space, I always refer it to a physical experience where when you go to the gym, you're like prepped. You've got your clothes on, got your water, and the second you walk through the doors, you are clear that you are there to work your body. And when you can create a sacred space, and just like Colleen has hers in her bathtub, I have mine in a closet in my kids' band room that I have gutted, and I've put all of my favorite things in there. All my crystals and my lamp and all the things that just bring my soul lots of joy. The second I walk in, it's like my spirit knows that I'm there for work. And so my spirit shows up. My ability to seek God is so clear because I've chosen that it's like a dedication for communion in that sacred space.
It's like when you go to church, when you step into a church, if that's how you practice a religion and you step into church, you're not there to exercise. You're not there to ride a ride. You're not there to do, eat food. You're there to worship. That's why people walk into churches, right? That's a great analogy. Yeah.
That's where we're going to charge the most.
Yeah.
So imagine if you could go, I mean, we know this, but those who are listening, imagine if every day you were able to go in and charge spiritually in a place that was dedicated to that only.
Mm-hmm.
The light that is within you will automatically grow. I had this really cool experience yesterday. I talked to a new friend of mine, and she was asking me about her business and like feeling really stuck. And I was like, she was, they're throwing out all the jargon. Well, who's my ideal avatar and all this stuff. And I said, throw that all away.
Mm-hmm.
Promise. We can get up in the morning super early, go to a place and talk to God. You will receive. And sure enough, I got a text this morning. She said, oh my gosh. I went in the morning, talked to God for the first time and asked for my curriculum, and it showed up.
Mm-hmm.
That's how quick this work of doing the spiritual recharge and connecting to God can wake up your life that fast.
Yeah. And, if you're listening to this or watching this and you still have hesitation or don't believe in God, or you have some other energy source, that's fine. What Keira and I are speaking about is we both believe in God. We both believe that, He created us. We are on earth. We have a purpose to be here. He is still the divine creator of everything. And we're not doing this alone. And, there's a reason why it says under God, one nation under God, right? Because we're one nation, one world under God, the creator. And the analogy of plugging in the cell phone, right? So we're plugged in to, like, we're eating food, we're doing our daily exercise, we're doing those things, but to truly recharge your spirit and your soul and your body, there's a reason why so many people meditate. And it's just about being still, purposefully still.
Mm-hmm. Mm. There is this absolute miracle that happens when you commit to working on this part of your life, when you commit to the spiritual aspect, whether or not you do believe in God, whether it's just a higher power connecting into the highest form of light. That is where magic and miracles happen. And the second thing that I really want to talk about is the seeking. So I love analogies, and a lot of them are mom analogies, but one was last week, my 10-year-old lost his shoes. He had one pair of shoes. I have 4 boys who skate like crazy. So they go through expensive skate shoes probably every 4 weeks. They get one pair at a time, right? He lost one of his shoes. And for 3 days, it was like every time we walk into him, pick up a blanket, look underneath the couch, like very minimal searching. We could not find it. Finally, on the 3rd day, it was like, well, this just isn't going to work. We need to find this shoe. So we sat down, we did say a prayer, and then I put all 5 kids and myself, this is our intention now. Everyone, we are searching this house high and low. We will find this shoe. And in 15 minutes, we found it. In 15 minutes, it was wrapped in a towel in the laundry room. Who would have found that? Here's the piece, is when you choose to seek, instead of just halfway doing it, halfway like mumbling a prayer or sending out some questions to the divine. But when you choose to seek by creating a sacred space, going in with deep intention, answers come quick, things become clear, pathways open, and miracles happen.
They do. They happen. And this is why I said Keira is the lights the lamps that God has all given us, because it's kind of and I think your program called The Awakening is a very, very, it's a great word, because you're waking up to something that maybe you weren't aware of before, or felt as if you were sleeping through life. And Keira reminds me a lot, because society and culture has us here all the time. And so when I'm working from here, she can tell, because I just went through a 6-month coaching process with Keira and a few other ladies. And my issue is I do everything from here. So I work from my mind and my brain, and I'm trying to figure things out there. It was when I learned how to step back, and anytime I could be anywhere, anytime, have an opportunity to take and connect directly to the source of how I actually get recharged, and allow myself to God take the wheel. It's a great song, right? And I think sometimes in our lives, we think we can figure it all out on our own. And it's just such a funny joke. It really is. We can do everything on our own. You know, one of the reasons why I created a community, one of the reasons why Keira creates a community, is because look at everything in our entire lives and why communities exist. Look at what's happening right now. If we were isolated without serving or any communities at all, everyone just starts withering away. Because if an infant's born and set aside and never touched and never loved and never connected with their mother, right? Or never connected with a source of love, or never, they wither and they die. Absolutely the truth.
Yeah.
So why anyone thinks that it's about what my master's degree is, or how I'm thinking, or what it is I think I can do, I know best. Slowing down and stopping and doing this. I love Hyacinth. I interviewed her the other day. She said, roll out of bed and roll onto the floor. And it's a great analogy. The first thing in your day that you should be doing, and Keira rolls out of bed and rolls into her closet.
Yeah.
So find yourself, create a space. If you do anything, create a small space. And I did mine in my bedroom, because that's the one place that no one goes in my house, my kids, my grandkids. It's somewhere that I know is there. It's there every day when I go into the bathroom to get a shower. And it's sacred to me, and it's my time that I can step away. So I encourage everyone to take time to create a space that you can step away and just be and listen. And I also recommend, and I know, Keira, you have right now, I think you have like a practice that you offer people, kind of a beginning for someone who's never done this before, right? Do you want to tell them a little bit about that?
Yeah. So the program you were talking about, it's called the Awaken Program. It's a 12-week digital course, and it's just the best way to get into a practice. It also teaches you about your chakras and how to heal your body spiritually and emotionally, which is powerful. But it's a 10-minute practice. So I always tell people, you know, I didn't start off with a 2-hour morning routine. It started off with 10 minutes, and then my soul needed more, and it hungered for more, and then I grew and grew and grew. But it began with 10 minutes, and that's all that is needed, you know? So that's a really great place for people to begin. And I offer like a once a month coaching call with me while they're taking it, so they can just get a little bit of feedback, some guidance, and deeper understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what Keira has to offer, we will put below in the comments section, because I want anyone who is feeling right now that you're right. My lamp's not lit. My light's out. Like, I don't know. I don't even know. Maybe you're struggling with just how to decipher the information that's coming in through the news, or the uncertainty of, we don't know when we're going to be released. We don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know what the ramifications are going to be on the back end when we do come out. And then how, how many people are willing to go travel, right? If you're in the airline industry, you're wondering, are we going to be able to get back up to capacity? So there's a lot of uncertainty right now, but I know for a fact, I know it to my being, I know it in my soul, I know Keira knows it in her soul. The one certainty in life is recharging and connecting to a higher source. And for her and I, that's God. And that never goes away. It's always there. It's always a certain thing.
It's the only consistent and constant thing that we can truly place our feet on. And one thing that just came to me, I want to finish, I know our time's almost over, is that when you talked about all this stuff, it's like immersed in our life right now, the news and the fear. And even though I don't watch the news, and I really stay off social media to not click into the news and the fear that's out there, going to Walmart, going to Fry's, seeing 90% of the people covered in masks, you can't not feel fear. And one of the things that I do every single morning that I've taught my people for as long as I can remember is a shielding practice. And you use it, we use it in our mastermind, we use it in my programs. And I have a link that I'll give you. And it's a 2-minute max thing that they can do every single morning to not only cleanse out the fear that they're feeling, but shield in light, and then also infuse themselves with light.
That's beautiful. Thank you for that gift, Keira. That's wonderful. I'm going to encourage everyone. Every single day we've been doing these, there has been free advice, free opportunities for you. There is no excuses at all for anyone not to tap into all of this advice and all of these free opportunities. So Keira, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you for lighting so many lamps in this world. And I kind of picture it like, when you do light the lamps and, you let them go up in the air and how beautiful it is. That's what Keira does. She just walks around and lights the lamps. It's a lot of work. I'm not going to go lightly. It's a lot of work because there's a lot of resistance. There's a lot of resistance on lighting our lamps, because in the darkness, they do not want lights and lamps lit. And so there's a lot of resistance. So I'm just plead to everybody out there, take this time to do one practice a day. And if it's to take 2 minutes to take Keira's free shielding practice and shield yourself daily, so that you're shielding your children, you're shielding yourself, you're shielding your husband, you're shielding a brother or sister or anybody that's within your home or within your life, that you have protected them. And then when you go out into the world, you feel shielded. Yeah. I think it's so important.
So much. And I think the last thing that is coming to my heart is that resistance will tell people, the thoughts in their mind will say that I don't have a light. Resistance will say, I don't have a purpose. And I want to just notice and take notice that those are just all illusions and they're all lies, because everyone has divine light within them, a divine purpose. Mm-hmm. And all they have to do is take the first step forward, and it will start to wake up.
So true. All right. Well, this is the awakening. That's what's happening. So Keira, thank you so much for being with us today and sharing your light and your love for everyone. And thank you for everything you've done for me in the past 6 months and coaching with me. I highly recommend Keira, especially anyone that was within my group. I highly recommend that you take advantage of what she has to offer and connect with her. So thank you, Keira, so much. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you being with us today.
Thank you, Colleen.
Thanks. All right.